Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Elegant Weapon, episode 376. My name is J.J.M. Clark, J the Jedi Ross, Ross Jedi J, and as always, it is so wonderful to have all you beautiful babies here with us in the Smoking Pod studio. Tonight, a little bit of a surprise. We've just popped up. We've just popped on in. No warning. Hey, sometimes that's how things come together. Oh, hear that? That's me. Yeah, so we're hanging out. We were talking some logistics about creating some things to go along with a brand new Kickstarter coming soon. And while we were sitting around, we thought we would actually just go live and chat about what we were chatting about, because volume 4 of Cauldron Kickstarter coming very, very soon, which means, of course, the return of the Dweller and the Seller, which is very, very, very exciting for me. As you know, I am very, very honored to take part in the creation of this awesome magazine through playing the Dweller with a whole bunch of insanely talented individuals. Two of those individuals hanging out here with us tonight, founders of Cauldron magazine, Heron and Casey Parsons. Hello, fellas.
Hey.
Yo.
All quarantined well and cozy, I assume, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I never quarantined. I worked the whole time.
You worked the whole time. I like how you guys were just blabbing away nonstop. I hit go live, and now all of a sudden it's like this the whole time.
You told us to shut up while you introduced.
Yep, yeah. Now you're introduced, so let's liven this back up again.
And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, guys, what's up? I haven't been on your show in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man.
I think we were
seen you in forever. When's the last time I saw either of you guys?
Oh, before COVID.
Yeah, it was before.
Nobody's seen
fall.
anybody. Yeah, or maybe the Christmas show last year.
Yeah,
really? That's usually like.
Yeah, no, it would have been the Christmas show, I guess, right?
Because we were all amping up for the March Con, which never happened.
And I just squeezed in C2E2 in February, right?
Yeah,
so I got those 3 shows.
I saw you there. That's where last time I saw you.
That's where we were hanging out. That's right.
Yes,
of course.
The Source Point was right in the front.
Right. Yeah. Oh, what
when
a
you
great
walk
spot this year, eh? Did they
you were lucky.
Or what?
Yeah.
No, Source Point's got a really good relationship with Reed Pop, and it's a good relationship to have. Reed Pop's been very kind to Source Point.
That was a great show. Yeah.
That was the last pre-COVID show, really, right?
Well, yeah. I was just about to say, do you remember, Casey, how we had just started Bumpin' Fists?
Yes.
Like there was just this whisper of it in the air, and certain guys like Richard Pace and other people who were in attendance, we had just started, thought we were being real cautious. Oh, we're real cautious. We're all just gonna bump fists. Had no idea in a couple months we'd all end up in PPE attire and stuff just to get groceries.
We likely drank enough to avoid catching anything.
That was a super fun drinkcapade that week.
Yeah, because it was just those 2 hotels.
Yeah,
the lobbies kind of connected.
Very typically convention hotel schmoozy. I remember a lot of deals went down that weekend, and it was sad because a lot of excitement and a lot of cool stuff happened, and then it all had to get put on hold because of getting quarantined and all. But yeah, we were 2 of the lucky ones, Casey, who squeezed in that last big show.
Yeah.
For what may be a long time, because I had just been in Vancouver too. I did Vancouver Fan Expo.
I'd love to try that one.
It was good.
I've got family out there. Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was smaller than Toronto, of course, but Source Point sold everything, so I love the people of Vancouver. But big gaming community. Jeremy Clark was out there. It was cool hanging out with him and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I would definitely recommend it for sure. And then we were going to do Calgary. We're going to do Calgary in April, and that got all shut down, and we haven't done anything since. So.
Oh, I know the feeling. Yeah, I was planning on doing a lot of traveling.
Joey Pangolinin. You guys are familiar with Joey, right?
Yeah.
AOWY. Yeah.
Joey says, "Hey boys, finally read issue 1. Was digging it. Love the art. Love the adultiness."
Well, wait till you read issue 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah, you got to catch up, Joey. What's going on?
Oh, she's
Thanks
watching
for-
live right now. We're like live on Facebook or whatever
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
we're
Okay. Cool.
live
Yeah.
on Facebook or whatever it is.
Yeah. Joey,
Um,
check your messages and message me back.
You're hanging out there live, in fact, from the Raid studio, aren't
Yeah.
you, Shane?
Just got quiet in here. I think everyone went to get something to eat.
It was just loud. We heard Ramon yelling in the background.
Screaming. He just screams at
Stuff.
people.
He sounds mean. He sounds
Yeah,
like
he's
he's
an
got that
angry
whip,
guy.
eh?
He's
Yeah.
constantly. He just walks
That's
around
the
with a hammer.
impression.
Smashing.
Whenever I've talked to Ramon, it's been pure. "Rrr, what do you want?"
He's known as the angriest guy in comics. No, it's good though because
Yeah,
we
should not give that impression. Ramon is actually super lovely. And
Oh, don't
he
just say
has-
that.
He has been to me. Well, I have to.
Let's trash him.
You have that unique perspective now. Well, how's it been? How long you been tabling your raid now?
Year and a half.
Is
I think
that
it'll
all?
be. I think I officially joined in February 2018. So what does that work out to? No, 2019, February 2019. So I think in this February it'll be 2 years that I've been here.
And you found yourself there a lot, yeah?
A little bit. I try to get in more. The place that we moved to, I don't really have drawing space anymore. So I just thought it's more encouragement to get into the studio, and it's kind of easier from where we are now to get to the studio. So yeah,
You originally joined more for like the creative inspiration and environment, though, yeah, to kind of just be,
yeah,
soak
that
in
was
that.
it. Wasn't
That
so much
helped?
about the space. Yeah, so much like
Yeah.
if people have read the third issue of Cauldron, which because of COVID we never really got to properly release, but the story I did in it, Scott Hepburn sits next to me and he helped me so much with little things. He's very good at articulating what's wrong with the page or how to improve it. And so sometimes I'll just draw something and I'm like, I don't like this, but I don't know why. And then he'll be like, try this. And you're like, oh yes, perfect. So it's little intangible things like that you don't really think about. But yeah, so it's the drawing space, getting to know these guys. There's so many different intangible sort of little benefits to being here. But yeah, definitely, Marcus Toe sits right over there and he helps me a lot. Ramon will walk by and just give me some pointers and stuff like that on ink washing or whatever it is. So it's really good to be around these guys.
Have a lot of new kids come on since the new studio and more space, or
Yeah, it's kind of, there's been a weird sort of changing of the guard or a new class because there's a few, we had a few guys who are here for a while. I guess for whatever reason, maybe they didn't love the new space. I know we don't have as much natural lighting and stuff like that, but it's a huge, great space. But we've had a few people leave and some new guys come on. So it's actually been, it's actually helped me feel a bit more comfortable because we're sort of the new kids kind of. And
what's the table capacity like?
I think for full-time spaces, I think we probably have 15, maybe we could even do 20. I don't know. There's a lot of, it's huge. There's so much potential here. But I think we have full-time spaces, probably do 15 to 20. I think we have something like that. There's part-timer spaces too.
Just in case anybody out there is watching who's unfamiliar with what studio we're actually talking about, the Raid Studio is the Royal Academy of Illustration and Design. And it's just that. It's a studio in Toronto where table spaces. There you go. This is the brand new studio. Wow, it looks so nice. Whoa, wow.
You haven't been in there yet?
Not the new one, no. Wow.
Yeah.
It looks super cool. Yeah. So basically all the names he just mentioned, like Marcus Toe and Scott Hepburn and Ramon Perez is leading the charge there these days.
Yeah.
The school was founded by Chip Zdarsky and a few others.
Chip, Kagan, Ben
back in the
Cannon,
day,
and the infamous Cameron Stewart.
Right. Is Cal still on board? Is Cal Menendrovsky still doing his thing?
Yeah. He's got his spot over in the corner over there, and he comes in every once in a while still. It's starting to be at the beginning. We never really closed up. It was always open. But when COVID started, everyone just started working from home. So it was 3 guys in here spread out over this whole space, but slowly people are starting to come back and work from the studio again. Not everyone, we're still at like, but it's good because even like if you're worried about COVID, so yeah, we're all, there's so much room, everyone's spread out so far,
Right.
like
Yeah, it
you're
looks
basically
spacious.
always 6 feet away from everybody anyway, so it's
Yeah.
yeah, we got plenty of space.
It's cool, man. It's the old Raid studio was a magical place. It was
Yeah,
when you walked in there, you could literally, it's like you could feel the creative juice in the air. It was
yeah.
like thick with it, you know. So, but I mean, it's got to be awesome to be the new guard at this new studio that's gonna just grow and help so many more people like continue on, right?
Yeah, it's and it's going to be a different thing. Before it was just a space for artists to work out of, and now it's that. But now we have part-time studio space. We have like, you should see we have a chill room with, it's like a library there with a TV and couches and stuff, and like a little astroturf. It's pretty great. We
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
meeting room. Eventually, guys will start doing lessons, like
Right.
comic book school or lessons, something like that will eventually happen here. We got, and well, this ties into the Cauldron thing. We're going to do it. We have a new art gallery at the front. It's a coffee shop,
Right, right.
art gallery, and it opens. You have a big garage door, and it opens right onto Queen Street.
That's
So
gonna be awesome, man. When
yeah,
things ever go back to normal enough, at least it'll be awesome to, have
well,
that.
we're
Well,
doing
actually,
on,
it helps with this situation being able to
yeah,
go as open air as you can, right?
yeah. So on the 19th of September, we're doing the first art show, and it's going to be another Cauldron art show.
Right. So how's that work? Is that just open to the public, or is it
Yes.
tickets, or
No, it'll be open to the public, but it's different. Like, you remember the one we did at the Seven Crowns Tattoo last
yes?
year.
Yeah.
That whole idea was just to pack as many people as you can into the place. We're, because
Can't
of
do that
COVID,
now.
we're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah. So we've figured out, like, there's a square footage, so we can figure out how many people we can have inside at one time. But we're gonna start it earlier in the day and try to get people to stagger, and so, like, start at 1 p.m. and we're gonna do something like an incentive with prints or something like that, where if you come at this hour, you get this thing. So just
Okay.
encouraging people to spread out so that we don't get everyone coming at once, basically. So
Right. Right.
we're still working on the details of that, but we're obviously very careful. We don't want any bad press being like, there's a huge party at Raid and everyone's got COVID now. Like, we don't want that,
Yeah.
right?
No.
So
No. No. But you can have a
um,
nice structured,
yeah,
distanced event for something like that, especially, and Cauldron's a great, a great thing to start off, an attempt at, public raid life, because it's
yeah,
not just it's a whole bunch of new stuff, and it's really exciting because raid has always been this magical mystery thing in Toronto. It was a little tiny lofty like studio with like 6 desks, and they always were filled with the most legendary of dudes.
yeah,
And now there's this new space, and it's open to the world, and it's a whole different attitude and atmosphere now, and it's taking that raid magic but sharing it with the rest of the
yeah,
world. And you got to be careful with something like that too, right? There's a lot of excitement, um, and I can't wait to be able to be allowed to go see it back in Michigan. But Oxeye Media, who is the parent company of Source Point Press, Deepwater Games, and N3, they have a whole new facility. They've got a new warehouse with offices, and it's got like game testing rooms and like like studio rooms and like chill rooms, and like it looks great. It looks like just like the studio there. It's all like brand new, fresh painted
yeah.
drywall, and like I'm so stoked to go see this whole new mad environment of all my stupid friends acting like adults in.
You're gonna go
And
to Michigan?
yeah, but I got to go to Michigan if I'm ever allowed to again, right? So
I ain't going to the States in a long, long time. I'll
no,
tell you
man, it's
that.
gonna be a while. I'm really concerned. I'm not gonna see a lot of my friends for years. Like I really may not. And hopefully, luckily, we're getting back to a place where we can all start to see each other, right? Like I
Yeah.
had Mr. Sam Noir come on out for a visit a couple of weeks ago there, and it was so nice just to do nothing. Like we
Yeah.
went to the comic shop, we went to the toy shop, we went to Tim Hortons, the first Tim Hortons, and got a Claire's, and it was so nice to just hang out and do fuck all. It was really such a silly, pointless day. Yet even Sam afterwards was like, "That was really great, man." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I know." Just walking down the sidewalk together was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's just like honestly, just trying to get some feeling of normalcy a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah. I can't wait. Casey,
Hi.
so there we are at the beginning of this quarantine.
Yeah.
and we get to experience that last hurrah together. Even thinking back to how we were really all so socially not distanced. It's
Yes.
crazy. You were there with the school and stuff, right? Or the club, or what the hell do you call it?
Not exactly. No, I was there on my own for that, but some of the Kirby's comic art group was there. David Mack was there. Stephanie Lavaud. There was a few of us um, hanging out. I barely got to see any of them, and we were kind of staggered out through Artist Alley.
So how has stuff been able to keep functioning with the group
Oh yeah,
with the
yeah.
quarantine?
It's still been very busy. Like, because a lot of it is commission work, and I find like I think with COVID, more people are buying sort of online and looking for like shopping online that way. So I think we've actually maybe had more like commissions, but I mean, the cons kind of provided unique opportunities that aren't happening right now.
Right.
Um,
Like, how does that
so
work exactly? Do they go to the Kirby website and just pick an artist and get a commission from them,
yeah,
or
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just that simple?
You
Like,
get
do you
in
have a
touch with
profile on there?
Annabelle.
Okay, like
Yep. So you just
examples
go
of your
to
work are there.
yes. So yeah, she's my rep, Annabelle Kirby. Um, People always wonder about the name Kirby too, as no relation to Jack Kirby.
Well,
And
people are gonna, right? Like,
yeah, but that wasn't his real name anyhow. That was Kurtzberg was his real name.
and it's more than just like it's not really just a comic book thing either, though, is it? Right? Like,
I mean, mostly it's centered around. Yeah, I mean, most of the people that are part of it are artists that she felt were underrepresented, and then she's got her kind of roster of superstars as well. She's got selling works by Gilly March and David Mack. Zoo is now like hitting the big time, and Delato.
yeah, yeah,
Like, so
yeah,
she's got
yeah.
some big names on there, and then she's just got some new guys from DC in there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, it's quite a big list now. There's about 30 people, just about. Um, yeah, so you would just go to like kirbyscomicart.com and you could just look at all the artists. You can see samples of the work, what's for sale. A few of us recently just did, we just had Bill Sienkiewicz actually offer a couple Chadwick Boseman images for print. Like
Oh, come on. How cool is that? I saw yours. You did one, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
very nice. Yeah, yeah.
I felt like I wanted to do the tribute right away, and I was just kind of like swamped with things, so I was a bit behind getting it ready. And so yeah, David Mack and Zoo did a piece, and Bill Sienkiewicz offered two pieces. Um, and I was lucky enough to be kind of like have a piece and kind of sitting next to them. So
Yeah,
if you go
yeah.
to like the art collections and prints, then you'll see all the prints there. They're up for a limited time, and that all the money goes to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for it's like basically for the cancer research and stuff. And that was
That's
somewhere
awesome.
that Chadwick had actually visited and supported.
Awesome. That's great that
Yeah,
y'all did that. There was a lot of outpouring there, man. It's a shitty time for that shit to have gone down. You know
yeah,
what I
that was
mean?
a shock. That one, like,
Yeah. Well,
I had no idea he was like. I guess the
no one
last
did, right?
since 2016 or so, he's been fighting it and doing some of his best roles. Like, I
Yeah,
think he
that's
was a
harsh,
hero to
man.
a lot of people.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel like a lot of people need to shut up and
And
quit
he was our
worrying about
age.
stupid little things like having to wear a mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was the same age
Totally.
as us.
Yeah, he was younger than me. Wasn't he 40? Or was he
43.
he was 43. He was
Yeah.
our age, eh? That's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
insane. He
Yeah.
wasn't Shane's age though. Shane, aren't you a bit more of a baby?
Shane's about 57. How old is Shane
I'm,
now?
I'm a young man. I'm
Oh, okay.
23.
Awesome.
I don't know what you
So,
guys are talking about, you old men.
old men.
What's that?
I'm in my prime, son. What are you talking about? I'm climbing trees again and stuff.
Yeah.
I took my 4-month hiking sabbatical off to go on adventures, and now I've gone back to the working world. It just felt like I should start making more money. you know. But it was nice. I didn't mind. I've been paying into EI for 20 years. You think I mind taking 3 or 4 months on unemployment? Not at all. Pay me my money, government.
Yeah, I've paid in. I've never
Yeah.
collected.
Yeah,
How
exactly,
well you
right?
can. I got Chadwick here.
Oh,
I don't know how
wow.
well you can see it, but
You can see it well. It's really beautiful, man. That's gorgeous.
and
Look
I
at that
consider putting him
shit. Now, how long did that take you?
not super long.
Just traced it.
4 or 5 hours maybe. I'd say.
4 or 5 hours? That's
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Like I sketched out an idea, a couple ideas. I did
How do
like
you
a
do that?
practice. A lot of
It's it's ridiculous. It really is practice. That's the evidence, eh? Like, um,
yeah.
we were
Sometimes
talking
the
earlier.
research and stuff, like the planning of the picture, it takes longer
Right,
than making the thing.
right, right. It's we were talking earlier about my kid there, and I just
Yeah.
posted a piece that my kid did recently, and it's pretty impressive for a 9-year-old colorblind
What's his
kid.
Instagram handle? He's on there
He
showing his
does
art.
at Skedaddle Art.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, it might be skedaddle underscore art, but either way,
Check out
look
his
that up.
stuff. He's gonna.
He's doing all
I
right,
think he's
but
gonna
I'm
go
wondering,
places.
like he was doing well, and you remember he was coming along well, and then
Oh yeah.
quarantine hit, and he spent the past 5 months doing nothing but drawing
Man, I would have
and
loved
playing
that.
video games. Now the kid has made leaps and bounds.
Could
Like,
tell. Yeah.
yeah, he's done so well, and it makes you wonder about our thoughts and ideas on education, right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine a kid. Like, I do think kids need summer where they get a couple months to just play and not have to worry about anything at all. That's just, childhood.
Mm.
But what if part of the school year they took a chunk of time where a kid could just primarily focus on one passion? How far would he go, right? And you made a
Yeah.
Dewsbury says Killer Chadwick Casey.
Well, thank you.
But you
Thank
made
you,
the
Davis.
comment on how it used to be that way. Like the masters would have an apprentice and they would just study with them forever, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but basically, yeah, like in the Renaissance, it went back to the way that I believe the Greeks, like the ancient Greeks, would sort of go through education. There weren't really schools, but you would
You'd study under somebody. Yeah.
yeah, they would kind of see where you had if you showed ability somewhere, then you would sort of go off and be with an apprentice or work in a guild. It'd be almost like an artist workshop, and you work under the master. So if you had a master painter, you'd be like grinding paints and stretching canvases, and eventually you start, maybe you paint some leaves in the background or something, and you work your way up until you learn everything, and then hopefully you pass the master and
Right,
start your own
right,
thing.
right. And it's all the inspiration for him now. Like you mentioned, his Instagram.
Yeah.
I started an Instagram for him. I looked into the rules, and it said kids can have one if their parent is the one like running it.
Hmm.
So I started one up for him, and it's because of all the artists he wants to follow, mainly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a few on there that he's way into, and now he's all like saving his money to want to buy commissions from. And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
at 9 years old, I like to draw, but it wasn't until like 12, 13, I got crazy obsessed with drawing all the time. But this kid just lives and breathes it.
That would
And
have been me. I wish I had,
right,
those
because the
months to develop
access,
like
right?
that.
Like
And
I
yeah,
don't
you
know,
can
yeah,
see
the
all this art.
inspiration, yeah.
Yeah, you can see what people are doing. You can learn from YouTube videos or,
Oh my God, what
you know,
YouTube has taught him, right?
I had
Like,
no access to that when I was 9. Like I'm an old man, like Shane was saying, so there was no internet, things like that. So it's whatever books you had, or if you
right,
went to the library, or if you were lucky enough to go to a gallery somewhere. In
right.
Canada, we don't have like too many galleries close by. We have a few
What?
nice ones.
What do you
Well, you're
mean?
at the AGO, and the Hamilton Art Gallery is nice.
It's not too bad, the
Yeah.
AGO.
When you're 9, you're not running off to the art gallery too much.
Yeah, no, this is true. This is true.
I wouldn't
It's
have known to do that, right? I wouldn't have seen that. I saw comics and Robert Bateman books and
Well, when
things
did
like
the
that.
fine illustration get into your brain?
Oh, I mean, I was drawing portraits at a young age too. I mean, whatever. I used to see. I even remember there was like the spitting image characters on the music
Okay.
video stuff. I would draw
Right.
like
Were you painting
I had
young? Like,
stacks. No painting. I actually met Robert Bateman a few times, and I think it
really?
was about 11 or 12, and he said to start painting. I would show him my drawings and stuff, and but I got really frustrated with painting because I didn't know what I was doing. Like the materials were good, but I didn't know how to use them. So that came later on. And like I'm not a natural colorist. Like to me, it's like a hard learning thing for me. I'm more of a form, black and white drawing
Well, you're doing
type of
fantastically
guy.
well with your progress, I must say. Like,
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
that's so weird to hear from one of like from someone like you, and you're such a deep, rich painter. Like your painting is really, really like
I was
warm
fortunate
and
later on.
alive.
I
You
had,
know?
yeah. I mean, I found like good private instruction. I think I was about 12 or so when I finally found somebody. I studied under an illustrator out in Kilbride, this guy Albert Casson, which is different than the group of seven Albert Casson. And he was mainly a wildlife illustrator, and he would do like pointillism pictures and draw like very fine, detailed, realistic. And that was my first experience doing like life drawing. There was a small group of us at his house, and he showed us like he did his own printing and lithography and things like that, and learned a lot about a real studio and artist setting there and materials and things that I
You
still.
seem to have a certain passion for it that others in our community don't quite have. When it comes to
Yeah.
like the masters and stuff, because when we all go to a weekend and we're all excited to go to some greasy dinner and all eat some greasy pancake after hungover breakfast together, you're the one who's like, "Ooh, I've got to hit the museum. Ooh,
Yeah.
I've got to hit the
Yeah.
gallery," and you're off all looking at fine works of art and shit.
Yeah.
So does that excite you just as much as anything else? Comics, is there one that's more exciting than the other?
They're different. I have passion for both. I mean, the fine art world I take very seriously, and I've learned a lot from that. I mean, I studied that, and I did fine art painting and things like traditional painting, from life and landscapes and things like that for about 15 years or so before I came back to comics. And I'm
Right,
trying to
right.
like take that, learning and put that into illustration, but it's such a different way of working and thinking. Comics
Well,
were kind of my childhood love that I've come back to, and it's a
right.
fun, inclusive, community driven sort of thing. And it's just I can just explore and have fun and create and experiment and
This
tell
this,
stories. So it's that side. Yeah.
this better be an appreciated segue,
Okay.
because in that vein, Cauldron magazine
Yes.
is the perfect outlet for you to start to combine these two loves, because you're not necessarily jumping into comic bookiness
Yes.
with Cauldron, but you are getting to paint not necessarily real landscapes. You are getting to be a little more fantastical with your painting, right?
Yeah.
So this must have back from the beginning. That must have been pretty exciting for you. You'd get the chance to exercise this muscle and try to combine these things that you haven't before. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I've been saying that before. Like Cauldron kind of happened at the right time too. It's like I want to make comics, but doing like small chunks like that and taking time and you can kind of flex your muscles and try different things by doing these sort of one-off short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're making an ongoing series, you're almost kind of stuck with whatever you started with, that style or method, and you probably have to worry about speed and um, being more economical about getting things done. And the Cauldron, yeah, definitely, it's like there's so much room to experiment and so much fun, and it was absolute freedom in a sense. And of course, drawing monsters and the adult themes and things like that, it's a lot of fun. And I get to paint, and if I
Right.
want, or
Yeah. Yeah.
use whatever crazy materials I feel like at the time.
I always say like, what was the first book that you did? It was called Blood Moon.
Blood Moon, yeah.
And I remember you gave us a copy, and I was like, I wasn't like super impressed by it, but I remember like thinking like it looks like you're trying to do what you think a comic book artist should do.
Exactly. I was.
Right.
And
Right.
then I
Right.
think with the first Cauldron issue, that's where you sort of like, I feel like it maybe started to click, and you were like, I don't have to do what I think a comic book artist do. I'm going to do my version of a comic book. And then you've embraced that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's become like, you can really tell that you've grown a lot since then.
It was a hard lesson to learn in a way. Like I had to do, and I drew a second Blood Moon that, no one's ever seen. But but yeah, I was like, when I was going through it, I'm like, why did I kind of draw it this way? Like when I started out, it was all good intentions, and I was looking at certain artists and certain ways of working that I thought would fit. But then as you're going through, it's like if it's not true to how you actually feel about working, or it's not your natural way of working, then it's kind of like it kind of kills your passion for it. It becomes tedious almost. And it's nothing against the book or anything, but it was like I almost needed to kind of like do that to kind of know how not to approach storytelling in a sense. Like there were things that worked and things that did not work. And I just knew I had to get like not work this way. I wasn't going to be happy working that way. So I started exploring and experimenting, looking at guys like Sean Alexander became a big influence. And I started going like, well, how does he do this? Like, I love the look of his stuff. There's grit to it in it, but it's got realism, but there's emotion, and there's sort of dynamic proportions and stuff going on, and interesting inking techniques. So I tried to learn, well, how does he do that? And then who influenced him? And then, looking at Bill Sienkiewicz and a lot now, as you probably tell, he's a massive influence on me. And just like, who influenced him and how does he work? And, so it's just been a lot of experimenting, reading, learning, trying. I still like destroy papers when I work on things now. Like, I don't know how stuff is going to turn out, and, so,
yeah,
but it's a lot of fun messing around.
And here we are, 4 volumes later. Things have been rolling along. It's been quite a success. Everybody loves the magazine. There's nothing really like it at all happening out there. And it seems that you guys, despite having new people come on every volume, the heart of it still remains the same. It still seems like a bunch of friends having fun making this fantastic magazine. So tell us about the new kids coming on board for volume 4. Who do you guys got joining the team?
We have Jonathan Kachuba. You've had him on your show, I believe.
Oh, I'm very familiar with Jonathan. He's fantastic. Does great.
He's fantastic. He's such a hard worker. He's constantly just putting out new books, and he showed an interest in being in Cauldron, and we were like, let's get him on when we can. And Casey had a story. So basically, Casey's written a story, and Jonathan's drawing it. And I don't know if you want to talk more about that one, Casey.
So wait a minute. Casey wrote this that Jonathan's drawing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like writing. I don't consider myself a writer, but I've.
Casey's too slow, so he has to get someone else to draw his own stories now.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting indeed. I don't know if you can see this here.
Yeah, there's a basic page 1, and we're using like very kind of acidic colors on purpose, just because it fits in with the theme and the tone of the story. So it's it's kind of hard for me to describe it in summary, but it's a futuristic story, and there's a little kind of colonizing spaceship, a scout ship kind of, it's going to the moon Titan, Saturn's great moon Titan. And they're going to see if it's okay for terraforming and things like that, and have, people live there. And they start encountering just really wacky creatures and things that they didn't detect previously. And it's just a matter of survival and trying to get off that. So there's a bit of, I think of it kind of like Clive Barker's Books of Blood kind of feeling mixed with, say, Aliens, like Ridley Scott's first Alien movie.
Right on. That's
so
a cool mix, though, man.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know you ever wrote anything. So this is cool that you're stretching that muscle. And Cauldron, of course, again, the perfect excuse to do so, right?
That's it, right? It's another, Cauldron's that perfect vehicle, like, especially for us, where we can, try out stuff, see, if this is a fit for us or if it works. And we also have kind of a support system that way too. We can, we're sharing our things, and like, does this work? And they edit
while you're making it. Like, I wish all the fans could really understand it is a bunch of friends having a good time, because you guys are like, most of the excitement happens when you guys post new work in the creators groups and stuff, stuff like this.
I think when you're passionate about it too, your best work comes out.
This is Mr. Tashawn Dwyer.
Yeah, Tashawn, it's kind of cool because he's the first guy in the Cauldron book to sort of have like a manga-esque feel to it. And Tashawn's just, we've known him for a long time. He's just growing and getting better and better. And we asked him to be in it last year, and he wanted to draw and write and color his whole story. And it's a beautiful one. It's a manga-esque one with a samurai kind of take on it. So it's really good. I'm really excited about that story.
And is he writing and drawing this?
Yeah, he did everything. He didn't want to do we were like, do you want to work with a writer? We have story ideas. Or you want to? And he was like, I want to do my own thing, and he did, and it's been great. It's ready to go.
Is there anything pure prose this time around? Like Casey
We have
did
a
before?
one
Who's
page.
doing prose? Who's doing that?
I don't know if you know him. His name is Oliver Ho. We met him. He was in Ty's class with Sam Noir and Chris Yao and those guys. So we've gotten to know him, and he's done some comic book work over the years. But he's a really, really good writer. And we asked him like, "Hey, do you want to do some prose for this?" And I haven't done it yet, but I'm doing the illustration to go basically with his story. But it's a cool little. It's a short story. It's like a one-pager, but it's really good. He's a really good writer, and I'm excited to have him in Cauldron.
Nice. And of course, we've got this.
Yeah. Phenomenal cover.
Right here.
So that's Paul Limjenko.
Oh, Paul Limjenko.
Yeah.
And you should have seen even his rough.
I thought his rough was the finished cover. His roughs were
ridiculous.
So
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, he, I became aware of Paul through his work on Neon Black with Kevin Briones.
Yeah.
The backup stories and stuff. And lately, he's absolutely stepped into his own spotlight, just killing it with the work that he's been doing. And this here is a standout piece. Like, look at this. This is as what you guys are going for as it gets.
Yeah.
Is it not? Like,
it's a beautiful cover.
Like, does this not represent the very first thought you all had when you were like, I want to make this magazine, right? Right?
Yeah. Well, Sam's introducing the character of Satanella, who's sort of like I believe it's a character from way back in the day that he's bringing back, but she's kind of like Elvira crossed with like Vampirella or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But look at this work, like.
And we have, because it fits our demographic of old perverted guys, we're doing. Paul basically did a nude variant. So
did he?
Yeah, so we're going to have that as the Kickstarter for the guys who are perverted like me, who want to have the nude variants. You'll be able to get either or both as a package, but it's basically the same cover but nude.
I love that Cauldron is going for that attitude, but in that old kind of classy heavy metal way. Not in the, not to be disparaging, but not in the, what's that company? What's that comic publisher? Does all the big titty comics.
Big titty comics. Big titty comics.
Who I'm thinking of. Come on.
I think I know which one you mean.
I'm totally blanking out. They're often near Source Point at the shows. And,
I don't know.
They were beside us in Vancouver. How am I blanking out? Oh, it's totally tip of the tongue.
Smoke too much ganja, man.
But either way, either that or not enough. But that's more that new school, genre of that kind of thing. Where I like in this old school, there is a certain fantastical, mythical classiness still to it, right? It's not just like tits and guns. It's more tits and dragons. There's a difference to it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how Cauldron started. Like I always say that I wanted it to feel like the first time I saw a heavy metal magazine, where, I mean, as a kid, my friend showed it to me, and at that point I'd only seen Archie or superhero comics, and I didn't even as a kid understand that you could make comics with nudity and sex and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, what is this? Like, is this allowed? Like, you could make these books? And I remember his mom coming downstairs and we had to hide the magazine away. And I was like, that's what I want Cauldron to feel like. I want some kid to discover it and be like, oh my God, I got to keep this. And my mom can't see that I have this, like some, little kid with raging hormones or something like that. So that's what we're going for. We're going for that sort of heavy metal feel. And also at the same time with the age we live in now, I mean, we do always want to be sort of aware of, political correctness and stuff like that. But, we do that in our other books. But with Cauldron, I was like, we're allowed to be sexual. We're allowed to be slightly pornographic. It's geared towards mature readers. At the same time, I don't think we cross any like severe lines. But at the same time, we want to have that. We want to not worry about being super politically correct all the time. And it's okay to be to want to look at pornographic comics. It's okay to look at adult content, that type of thing.
And it's also we didn't make it like a total boys club either. I mean, there's our creators. It's a mix that way, and there's something for everybody in this. It's supposed to be kind of I don't know, like fun. Like I don't want to say titillating, but kind of. It's supposed to be kind of like just like a tongue-in-cheek kind of throwback, but it's a modern version, as though creepier heavy metal were being of the 70s was happening now, almost like that flavor, but modernized.
There's absolutely been female creators on the roster in the past, but are there any on this volume?
No.
Good question.
But that's not without lack of trying. It's just there's.
We have a pinup by Bobby, like trans.
This is where the misogyny just starts flowing through, isn't it?
Well, part of it too is we try to recruit. Like we do want to have more female creators if possible, but we know a certain amount of them.
Our editor's female as well.
Yeah, Ashley Chance, female, but it's also like the artists they're the ones that are really good. They're also busy sometimes too, so it's hard to get.
No, it is that
certain people in the book, right? Like,
I don't mean to give any kind of impression if anybody's taking it wrong, because I mean our own Miss Casey Pierce has beautifully appeared and worked with you, Casey.
That was wonderful.
That's the shame about COVID is that we had the latest issue that we had, issue 3. We had it ready for the March Comic-Con, it never happened. And we never truly got to release it in a sense. So, but it's I think it's our best issue so far.
It's an amazing issue. It's incredible.
Casey Parsons drew the story that Casey Pierce wrote, which is it's beautiful. It's amazing. Bobby Gorefield did basically what she pitched to us as lesbian Conan, and it's all the characters. Basically, it's like a Conan story, but every character is a female in it, and it's beautiful. It's sexy. It's everything. But the story that I did is basically
Naked Barbarian guy,
Naked Barbarian. Like half the story is basically pornography. But it was good. It was a challenge too, because I'd never done that before. I'd drawn, some boobs here and there, but I'd never actually drawn straight pornography. And I thought like this is kind of fun and different. And I see other creators like Brandon Graham's one of my big influences, and I see stuff, and he draws pornographic comics all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Like you can do stuff like that. You can challenge yourself.
Sure it is. I mean, yeah. Like a lot of, if I can remember that comic company's fucking name, they fucking have built an entire foundation on doing that.
Yeah.
Is it the ones that do like Jungle Girl or something? Is it that one?
It was funny because we were at Source Point. I'm totally brain farting. Like if you were to name like the top like 4 or 5 like independent creators or publishers, you'd name them. They were right next to us in Vancouver because we were making fun of the fact that with us it was like blood and gore right next to tits and guns.
You don't mean like Dynamite though.
No, not Dynamite.
Because they're a little more.
No, they're great people who run it.
Yeah.
I want to say Valiant, but it's not.
No.
With an A.
There is like, oh my gosh, I can't think of them either. Atlantic or
no,
it's not.
You know very well who I'm talking to, but we have to stop talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So the Kickstarter itself for Volume 4. Oh yeah, and you know what though, we can't be reminisce. I think it's funny to look back and remember when you were all deciding the simplest thing at the beginning, and not the simplest thing, actually a big deal that would, lead into the future of the magazine's existence is how to release it, whether as a comic book or a magazine. And, you and Sam, I remember, went back and forth, you flip-flopped both from opposite ideas a couple times even then, but you finally decided to go with magazine format. And it was absolutely the right decision, I believe. I'm sure you guys are happy with that as well, yeah?
Yeah, and we're like, a lot of people at the time said that like comic book stores wouldn't order it because it doesn't fit in the racks. but then not and not saying that it was us that did it, but like DC Comics started doing the black label that were the same size, so it's like, well, if comic stores are going to order that, they can order Cauldron, right? Like they'll find a way to fit it in the rack.
Yeah, I mean, you have graphic novels of all different sizes too. I mean, it can fit somewhere. Make the room, build it, and they will find the room.
I think that's part of the appeal with Cauldron. I love having the magazine size, like a
Yeah.
little bit larger. I don't know, something about it makes you feel like
It's-
it literally feels like we're looking at like old heavy metals type thing.
Yeah, and it's more art centric, as Sam would say.
Yeah.
Where the comic doesn't quite give you that; it kind of like tapers it down.
Yeah.
And I guess it'd be more a concern of like Shane's saying, like, would it sell? Would people buy it at that size? But we wanted that magazine size to showcase, like brilliant, illustration.
Yeah, and it shows it off so well too, right?
Yeah.
Like when you flip through that magazine, it feels like something unto itself, and it reminds me of even Mad Magazine back in the day when I would get my Mad Magazine and sit down and copy all of Mort Drucker and Jim Davis's pictures, because that's what I used to draw Mad Magazine all the time. I used to love to copy those
Yeah,
caricatures,
Jack Davis.
right?
And
Yeah.
More cracked, I guess, but yeah, Mort Drucker was phenomenal. He was big.
I think we
influence
definitely at
too.
one point toyed with the idea of doing like a back cover, like fold-in type thing for Cauldron, but we thought that was a little too Mad Magazine for us. But I love that type of stuff.
And you're kind of our Alfred E. Newman.
Right? What? Me worry, right? Fuck, I tried Googling this and it failed, kids, so we'll have to get back at you at another time. I bet you there's a bunch of people out there screaming at me, whatever the hell that publisher was. But
I mean,
the
there's several.
Kickstarter itself is going to take off when?
We're a little bit behind. We're thinking of, I think the plan now is next Tuesday, the 15th of September. We're going to do what Martin's been doing, the Sketchomanias. We're going to do a big Sketchomania Zoom meeting, live draw on Facebook with pretty much any artists that have already been in Cauldron or any Cauldron-y type artist. So we're going to do that, and I think we're going to launch the Kickstarter on the same day, and that'll give us a nice big sort of like boost of momentum to start.
Maybe the Dweller should show up on that Sketchomania. And
the Dweller draws, I know. So the Dweller
does draw. The Dweller could draw some interesting things and perhaps some interesting mediums. Jonathan Kochuba is watching.
Yeah,
we
hey
just
John.
showed
Hello,
off
Jonathan.
Kochuba's art. He says Greek clay jars are my preferred comic format.
Yeah.
So Jonathan
in the round.
likes to. I just saw Jonathan at Gotham Central. So I went out. I was so desperate for love and attention and people that I went to Gotham Central for a day a couple Wednesdays ago and set up a source point table.
Okay.
Because I've got so much stock right now from March Comic-Con that didn't happen, right? So I'm sitting on all these books that are now starting to get a little bit older. I've got to get rid of them somehow.
I remember you did a video about that in the backyard. Yeah.
So I set up for the day, and I sold a few books, nothing crazy, but it was just so awesome to be out there and hanging out. And a few people stopped by. Gibson Quarter stopped by and picked up his pull. Like, I know they didn't all specifically come to see me, but I could pretend. But Jonathan might have actually. Jonathan, I think, came by. I know when we were there, which was very, very cool.
Yeah, he's closer to that area. Yeah.
He also asks when Cauldron is going to sponsor a NASCAR car. I guess he's got some ideas. But he dropped by. Stephanie Line dropped by. Gibson Quarter, I just said.
You've seen more of Gibson.
Yuri Levetsky dropped by. It was just nice to see some humans I haven't seen in 6 months and know they were still alive and making stuff, right?
It's strange when you actually see people in person now, almost like but it's so nice. When you get to see somebody.
The Kickstarter itself, do we know what it's going to include then yet? Can we brag about anything? Do you have any info, or did we just go too off the cuff for this?
Mention the A and B covers.
Right,
we're coming up with some other bigger incentives, right? This time,
yeah,
like doing it a little different.
Yeah, we'll have definitely some original art rewards from Jason's story. I don't think Deshaun, he did everything, I believe, digital. Casey, would your pages be on there as a reward? Maybe the Dweller pages, or?
Yeah, I'm good, and I'm gonna be offering like a reward tier with sketches, like do maybe like 5 originals.
Yeah, we usually do that with the different artists. Like I'll do a couple
Yeah, I didn't
commissions.
really do that last time. I kind of stepped away from it
Yeah.
last time, but I'm gonna offer that again.
Oh, and we're going to the not the last campaign, the one before I did the Cauldron hot sauce, which was like a
Right.
huge hit, like to the point where I still have to keep making it because people want to keep buying jars from me.
Right. There's
But
still
I've made
some in my fridge. Does that shit go bad?
you got about a year on it, but I mean, I don't
I still
know.
got a jar from when Aaron bought a bunch off of you last year. I still got one of those jars in the fridge. So
Oh yeah.
Look for mold at the top, you know.
Right?
It I think that one we made I made just before Christmas, so it's probably fine still. But yeah, we're gonna do. I have a second one. It's called the Cauldron Green Death Sauce, and it's super hot,
Ooh.
like hotter than I can handle. And
Did you
I
not
like
use
my
ghost pepper for the last one?
yeah ghost pepper and a few other peppers, but this one is Fred Kennedy. I don't know if you know he grows his
Oh
own
God.
peppers,
Oh
and he
no.
gave me a ground up. It's Trinidad Scorpion, Carolina Reapers, Thai Dragons, and Ghost Peppers, and it's just a bunch of that. So I made basically there's only gonna be 12 jars of the Green Death sauce, but it's like only for real people who are like want super hot because this is like it's not even for me. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
You guys need to do like a hot wings type video with like different levels of Cauldron hot sauce and have somebody try some wings with the fucking shit on it. That's just
I think I might
absolutely
do the original Cauldron hot sauce too for this one, just because I got to make more anyways, because people always order it from me. So we might have both of them as rewards this time around.
Might
But
be nice to have a milder option.
yeah, well, the Cauldron sauce, the hot sauce I made before, I mean, there's ghost pepper in it, but it's not like I don't know, it's hot, but if you can handle hot, it's good. It's like
That was good. It was flavorful, tasty, with
well,
a
that's what
good
people are
heat to
loving.
it. Yeah.
It's not that people think it's the hottest sauce in the world. I haven't heard that at all. But apparently, this stuff is so flavorfully fantastic that people just can't get enough of it. I personally can't eat hot stuff, so I really haven't.
That's why it's going bad in your fridge, man.
Have a dab of it, but it's all good. The art show at the premiere on the 19th is that going to be like auctionable? Can you auction and bid on the items that are going to be hanging, or is this more just an open house, grand opening?
Yeah, the art will be for sale.
The art will be for sale.
Yeah, again, it's going to be similar to our previous Cauldron art show, where it'll be people that have been in any issues of Cauldron. They're going to be hanging pieces that are original art from the book, or just pieces that are themed similar to Cauldron, and some people will be doing some new pieces. But yeah, we'll have all kinds of stuff there. So it'll be for sale. And I think the 19th we're gonna have the opening of the art show. We're gonna spread it out over the day. We're gonna probably start at like 1 p.m. and then go into the night, so that people, especially if people are worried about COVID, so yeah, we can spread them out a bit more. And then it'll hang probably for 2, 3, maybe a month, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And then there'll be another art show taking over after, but it'll be the first one we're doing in the new raid gallery. So it's going to be really cool, really fun.
Very, very, very exciting stuff. Casey, I cannot wait to see your take on the Dweller.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. It's been so much fun because I've even got the pieces on my wall in the past because who's all drawing me now? Toskowitz drew me.
Yeah. Robert Freeman.
Robert Freeman drew me.
Yeah.
Yep. Jeffrey Miles has done one.
Jeffrey Miles has done one. Yeah, wasn't that the who did was that the celebratory one?
I don't know.
Someone did the one where I was like opening the magazine and it had all the stuff. I can't even keep track.
Yeah, I think that's Jeffrey's one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all so great, such talented people. And well, I'm a little nervous because yours is going to be probably more photorealistic. No?
Yeah, I'm gonna mess you up a little bit too. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's do this again real soon. Maybe.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Just before, anytime.
I appreciate the
just
invite.
before the show or something, we get some of the new kids on. I'd love to get the whole team on. Let's try and like do a day where with this. I've never had the full Brady Bunch like Zoom. I think the most I've had on are 4 at once, so 4 squares. So I'd love to get a session where we could have like a good 8 squarer going on, and maybe get everybody on talking about Cauldron Volume 4.
Yeah, let's
Super
do it.
exciting stuff.
Once the campaigns launch, we'll be looking to promote it even more. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a
let us
date?
know.
Is that the date then? Is the 19th? That's
The
the
19th will be the art show, the kickoff to the art show, and I think the 15th is going to be the launch of the Kickstarter, and we're going to be doing that live draw with Martin Slam Dunking
right,
on his
right,
fastball special
right.
page. So
Oh man, whole bunch of stuff's going to be going on,
yeah,
kids, for Cauldron Volume 4. Like Shane said, kind of got a little stunted for Volume 3 because of everything going on, and losing our March Comic Con. Unfortunately, it also looks like we've lost the
yeah,
December, the was it
There
November
was
they
a
were going to try
November
to do one.
show.
yeah.
It's hard,
Yeah.
man. Jason Stewart, if we got the geek, announced today that he's going to be doing a little Garden City Comic Con down in St. Catharines, at some club down there. So he's going to try to attempt some little socially distanced thing, which I think is cool
Interesting.
if pulled off. We got to get back to it sometime. I mean, we're lucky enough to have like what 5,000 cases or some kind of stuff, and the hard thing is going to be, I think, for us is figuring out how to move on without America. Like, really, like we're going to have to move on without America if we want to move on back to regular life, because they're not going to be back to it anytime near where we are, it feels like, right?
Well, yeah, America's
Yeah.
got to get their shit together, man.
Is this also the first purely Canadian volume? This
I don't
feels
know.
like the first time you
That's a good
haven't had an
question.
American involved.
No, well, the first
Or is
issue was
Casey is Casey Pierce the only American who's ever worked on this book?
Well, I mean, Paul's out in Thailand right now. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, but is Paul?
he's a
Where were you
Canadian
born,
boy.
Paul?
But he's
Are
a
you
Canadian
watching?
guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was born here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What's he doing out there, by the way? Do we know? I haven't asked. Is he working out there? Or?
It was supposed to be for 3 years. I think he's working, yeah.
Wow.
he's working in a sweatshop there.
Awesome. Kevin Briones has him out there making Raptors gear.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
Tax evasion or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's eating like scorpions on a stick, like roasted scorpions.
Awesome. All right, kids.
Come back soon, Paul.
What else? What else going on? Anything else that you want to plug quick? Like what you got? You must be working on something other than just Cauldron.
Well, Sam's got his book. We could probably mention that, Bally Skillen.
Right. Yes.
So we didn't want to like launch at the same time as him as well. I think he's working on that because he's doing this amazing thing with Andy Dorland. Was that his name?
Yeah.
It was. He's animating part of the book, which is crazy.
It's pretty wild. It's like you download the app, and then so you can buy the book basically by itself. But then if you you scan the page with the app, it recognizes it and then it animates parts of it. Andy's been working so hard on it. It's really cool.
Well, the art's amazing. I've seen some of the art.
Yeah.
And it's stunning. Like,
Yeah, they're going to be launching soon, I think. Like, because we're launching our Cauldron one, and I think the plan is to launch it like much sooner. But it's going to be really wild, and I think the more it makes, they're going to have some sort of rewards where like the more animations you get, basically for the goals.
Oh,
they're all set to go. I think they're trying to make it so you can sample some of the animation on the Kickstarter. Right. So I think that they're just working on that. Otherwise, they're ready to launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea. I love new cool, fun ideas, especially if anything's good's going to come out of this quarantine. It's going to be trying new shit, because what can you lose, right?
Yeah. Creators are doing amazing stuff right now.
Yeah. We are also, I think, the beginning of October, we're going to be launching a new Kickstarter with Davis Dewsbury. It's his project. It's a Auric. It's called The Long Winter. It's an Auric origin story.
Oh, cool.
And basically, we have like Jason Toskowitz, myself, Sean Daly's doing a chapter. Nice. There's only a girl named, I think her name is Elaine Will, is doing a chapter. It's really cool, actually. It's going to be awesome. So it's broken down into 5 chapters. It's a silent book, and we'll be launching that as well. And I'm helping Davis put that together because he's never done I think Andrew Thomas always kind of helped him do the Kickstarters before. So we're doing this kind of. Nice. That's going to be really cool. I'm working on that.
We ever going to see more Morris?
Yeah, that's the plan, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to. I wanted to have something for the Fan Expo this year, but that didn't work out. But I have a script from Fred Kennedy that I'm working on, and as soon as I finish kind of like the short stories that I'm working on now, that's the plan. More Morris, baby.
Fred's getting around, eh?
Yeah, he's
Fred's
a whore.
working on a lot of stuff. He's also going to be doing. He's going to be doing a Salvagers, I believe, a Salvagers one shot or one off for, or is it Shelter Division for Bob Sally? So he's going to be getting around. He's going to be doing some
That's
Source
nice.
Point stuff and this and that.
Well, he's a
Super
good
excited.
writer.
I just had him on. Did you see the episode that Fred was on a couple episodes ago? We did
Talking about gym, going to the gym.
we did a fantastic fun time fitness episode, man. And it was cool because I was expecting just to talk, and then he jumps online and he's all set up in his living room, like ready to actually work out.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we're going to work. I was like, oh, I didn't realize we were going to do like a whole thing, but we're going to plan to do that for another time. So we'll actually get on there and I'll try to accomplish some of his burpees from hell or some kind of shit like that, because he's an animal. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he has all the jobs he does, spits out all the creative juice that he does, and goes to the gym and gardens and tries to grow stuff and raises children and has a wife and many other things. And
That's because he's just terrible at all of those things.
right.
Yeah.
His
family hates him, all that stuff.
Missed you, Shane. I gotta have you on the show far more often. Just bring the real. Yeah, but other than that, things are good. I hope everybody's well. Let me extend some congratulations to Bob Sally. I just mentioned him. Broken Gargoyles. Brand new comic, just released last Wednesday from Source Point Press. Sold out at Midtown Comics in New York City in 4 days. This book is selling out all over the place. The very first time I got to read the preview PDF, I was blown away. And I thought this was going to be a game changer. This book is an absolute level up for Source Point Press. They've done a lot of good work over the years. But Bob Sally, I don't know how that fucker did it. I never thought he had this much in him, but he really brought something special. Him and Staniak have created an amazing book, and it is completely selling out across the continent. So everybody, before you miss out, which you may already have, actually, Broken Gargoyles from Bob Sally and Staniak. You got to check this book out, edited by Miss Drina Joe. Fantastic, cool stuff. I love this book. And also congratulations to Frank Gogol on the selling out at Midtown Comics as well of his book No Heroin, which has also been a smashing success. So Source Point Press selling out across the nation. Raid Comics, fantastic new studio that you all need to go check out. Come down on September 19th and check out the Cauldron Party. It's going to be good times. Despite Shane being there, it's going to be a positive attitude, and we're all going to keep smiling and have a good time. Casey,
Are you gonna be there, Jay? Are you gonna make it out?
I'm going to be there 100%. I need this. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
When you guys told me about it a little bit ago, like whenever that was last week or something, you guys were like, "Oh, we're going to have this," and I was like, "Oh my God, I need nothing more in the world than that at all." To go downtown Toronto to a comic book related event and see several of my friends. Yes.
Nice. Okay, good.
Yes, please. Like, I'll be there far too early and probably leave far too late. So I'll be there, kids. These guys will be there. Are you going to be there, Casey?
I'm debating it.
You're
I may
debating
make
it.
an appearance. Yeah.
You might make an
I'm
appearance.
still. Yeah.
You're still taking it easy. You're still watching what's going on.
Yeah. Still in
there?
hiding, but
It's
I may.
understandable. It's understandable.
Yeah, we're putting out the call to the artists in general. Or like if you're still not comfortable being at an event, you can still just hang art and sell art and not be actually at the show if you want. That works. But and also same thing with fans. Like if there's going to be some people that are still not comfortable, so
Absolutely.
we'll see what kind of turnout it is. But we want it to be a good turnout.
Nice, mellow event. It's not going to be a raging party, I'm sure. It's
my art's more interesting than I am, and that'll be there.
That's
So
true.
that's all you need. Yeah.
Who's gonna drink all the scotch then?
Yeah. Well, I can do that from home.
You know what would be cool for those who don't? You should have a couple laptops set up
Yeah.
that are just
So people can just talk to the artists.
yeah,
on,
so
like,
people would
Zoom.
just be zooming in from the artist. Have like one table where
It's not a bad idea.
that's going on.
I would do that for sure. If I don't go, then I would do that. I think I kind of did that at the last.
Should we do like we get a couple laptops together? I'll bring my laptop even, and someone could zoom through, and they can be part of the party. That will absolutely work. I think that's a cool idea. Or you could even have someone manning one of the laptops for people if they want to jump in and bid. Like maybe you can also put the pieces online, and people could during those hours maybe zoom in and bid on pieces.
I think
like
Shane can forge my signature too if we need to sign anything.
Let's get all meta interactive up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Let's do it.
What are they? Jonathan Kochuba is saying you rent out that Edward Snowden robot.
What?
Oh, I think I know what he means.
I love you, but you're a strange human being.
Jonathan is a strange human being. That's
in the
for
most
sure.
beautiful of
He's
ways.
eccentric. Let's call it eccentric.
Yeah.
It's the best.
He's right, though.
All right, there you're going to go. Thank you to the plethora of people who have tuned in tonight. You guys have brought in quite a few viewers.
We have.
So I guess that's
super
like
famous.
us.
You know, I guess people care about this Cauldron thing. They think you're interesting, you know.
I can see your Star Wars display. It's very nice.
Do you like that? I still got to get a ring light or something, though, because I'm very washed out. I'm very white and paley looking, but all these lights are too bright when I have them on, and I'm not going to be living here forever, so I don't want this place to turn into a huge thing. I don't know. I don't
like
know.
the
But it's all
color-changing
about you
LED
guys.
strips,
You guys
yeah.
are the stars, right? That's how it works. All right. There you go, kids. That's all the info that you're going to possibly need. Be there on September 19th as we celebrate Cauldron, and be there on September 15th. And seriously, you're going to want to jump onto the Kickstarter quick. These Kickstarters have sold out very quickly in the past. You know, they've done very, very well. What is this saying? More. He also says more Shane equals more views. That may be the point.
Yeah.
Who said that?
I always, Jonathan Kochuba. Do you remember that Family Guy episode when Peter's got that grind my gears
Oh,
segment
yeah.
on the news? Yeah, I always picture you doing something like that.
You know that grinds my gears? You, America. Fuck you.
And it always comes
Everything
back to
grinds
that.
my fucking gears.
But buy our book.
Yeah, buy their book. Yeah, make sure you do.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do it. We're going to end it there, kids. That's all we're going to have this week on An Elegant Weapon. Back at Ace.
Take care, everyone.
An elegant weapon, but a more civilized age.
Did Casey peace out?
Well,
He's
let
there.
it play for kind
I'm
of
here.
a minute, and then I let it fade.
I thought Casey.
Then I'll stop the share.